An absolutely fascinating piece of research was presented recently at the European Respiratory Society Congress in Amsterdam. And if you've ever been told to avoid or limit your fruit intake, you may want to think again. Stay tuned to the end of the video as we hear one of my favourite ever clips from Dr. Michael Greger. This study was presented by a PhD student from the Centre for Environmental Health and Sustainability at the University of Leicester here in the UK, who explained over 90% of the global population is exposed to air pollution levels that exceed WHO guidelines, and ample research shows that exposure to higher air pollution levels is associated with reduced lung function. Using UK Biobank data, the cross-sectional analysis included around 150,000 adults, with complete data on diet, lung function and air pollution exposure. The scientists compared people's dietary patterns, including their fruit, vegetable and whole grain intake, with their lung function, measured by something called FEV1. This is the amount of air exhaled in 1 second, and their exposure to air pollution in the form of fine particulate matter, PM2.5. Now, PM2.5 concentration is the amount of very tiny particles, so 2.5 micrometers or smaller, released into the air by cars and factories. The researchers adjusted for multiple lifestyle and socio-economic factors, including age, sex, BMI, smoking, passive smoke exposure, alcohol, physical activity, and education. And here's what they found. For every increase in exposure to PM2.5, of 5 micrograms per cubic metre of air, the team observed a 78.1 millilitre reduction in FEV1, the amount of air exhaled in 1 second, in the low fruit intake group, compared to only 57.5 millilitres reduction in the high fruit intake group in women. The researchers commented, "Our study confirmed that a healthy diet is linked to better lung function in both men and women regardless of air pollution exposure, and that women who consumed 4 portions of fruit per day or more appeared to have smaller reductions in lung function associated with air pollution compared to those who consumed less fruit." This may be partly explained by the antioxidant and anti-inflammatory compounds naturally present in fruit. These compounds could help mitigate oxidative stress and inflammation caused by fine particles, potentially offsetting some of the harmful effects of air pollution on lung function. What's interesting is that in the study population, men generally reported lower fruit intake than women. So the difference in dietary patterns may help explain why the potential protective effect of fruit against air pollution was only observed in women. The chair of the European Respiratory Society's expert group said, "This study confirms the potential respiratory health benefits of a healthy diet, especially rich in fresh fruit intake." A chief executive at a leading lung and asthma charity here in the UK said, "We know that a high fruit diet supports lung function, but it's an interesting step forward in this study to see that it could also counteract the effects of air pollution on our lungs." Next, we're going to hear one of my favourite ever clips from Dr. Michael Greger. The audio for the first clip isn't great, but there will be subtitles available.
So there's this global burden of disease study funded by Bill Gates, done by the World Bank, largest study ever in the history of humankind on risk factors for disease. It's different in every country, but in the United States, the number one killer is not eating enough fruit, according to them. Number one killer. So I think number 2 was smoking, right? Not smoking. So it's more important to eat fruit than it is to not smoke. I mean, that was crazy. And because they basically went through each of the diseases and found out which proportion could be prevented by eating more fruit, and you add them all up, you're like, whoa, eat fruit.
The Global Burden of Disease study, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, is the most comprehensive and systematic analysis of the causes of death undertaken ever, involving nearly 500 researchers from more than 300 institutions in 50 countries, starting out with almost 100,000 data sources. What did they find? Here in the U.S., they determined our number one killer was our diet. Number 1 on their list of the most important dietary risks, not eating enough fruit, responsible for millions of deaths a year around the world.
Next, we'll find out the number 1 fruit you can eat for your immune system. To view that video, you can click the middle of the screen now, but it will also be pinned to the top of the comments below.